Hey guys, let's have a real talk about mental health and amputation. I didn't know some of these things before I amputated my limb, and one of them may have changed my mind. Mental health just as a human is super important, but whenever it comes to being an amputee, there's a couple of things that I wish I would have put a little bit more thought into. In this video, I can't speak for anybody else, but these are a couple of the mental struggles that I personally have faced since becoming an elective amputee of my left leg a year and a half ago. I'm actually going to take my leg off for this so that we can get comfortable and chat, real chat. Okay. One of the things that I have come up against is being self-conscious whenever I have to do new activities because I don't fully know my limitations yet. For instance, I went kayaking the other day. I didn't get video of it, but whenever you stand up from the kayak, you're sitting kind of level on this level plank, and you have to be able to bend your leg enough at a 90-degree angle in order to put it down to stand up. I can't do that because I have all of those socks back there, and because I have the back of my knee area on my prosthesis, it doesn't bend. And so I had to figure out how to use one leg and get up on my knee and turn around inside a kayak, and it was so embarrassing and it was so weird. And so now I have these self-conscious issues about how am I going to get out of this situation once I get in it. I can sit in a kayak, that's no problem. It's getting out of it when the thing is wobbling and I have nothing to grab onto to pull myself up, and I have no way to turn my legs around so that I can stand up on my knees. It's just weird and awkward. So I have to get past that, but I do feel very self-conscious in certain situations that I might find myself in, which unfortunately makes me a little reluctant to try new things, and that's probably why I haven't gotten out there and started running, because I'm still so unfamiliar with my leg, and I don't know how I'm supposed to run and then put on a sock and keep running, and then stop and put on another sock and keep running. So if you guys know, if you've been through this with running and socks, please let me know. Please give me some encouragement of how to navigate this, because I really do want to get out there and do that. It's very intimidating. Very intimidating. Okay, this next one I knew would probably happen, and I'm not the type of person to put a whole lot of stock in what people think of me, so it didn't really seem like it would be that big of a deal. But oh my gosh, people stare like a lot. I don't understand. I feel like I have 3 heads whenever I go out in public, and granted, it's mostly kids. That's actually not true. I always expect kids to stare, so maybe I don't notice them, and I'm the type of person where I will stop what I'm doing if I notice them staring or pulling on their mom. Mom, I've never seen that. What is that? Then I will stop what I'm doing and I will say, hi, I'm Carrie. Do you want to see my leg? It doesn't hurt. It's kind of weird, but it's helpful for me. This is why. I kind of gauge the situation on whether or not I should say, the doctors took it from me, or, whatever. I say something very appropriate most times. But the adults, guys, I didn't expect the adults to stare. Maybe because I don't stare at people, but I didn't expect the adults to stare. I'm trying to work on this, but I'm the type of person that if somebody's staring at me, I do this until they stop. I know that's not right. I know it's not right, but I don't know what else to do. Like, my husband says rude things, or he'll say, hi, that type of thing. It's just so weird. It's not anything necessarily bad. It's just weird. I've never been stared at in my life, and so it's just weird. I don't know what else to say about it, but just expect it, because it's gonna happen. Okay, this is where I pop in and say, please subscribe. This really helps me keep going. It helps my channel. It supports me, and it tells YouTube that this information is worth sharing with other people. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Let's continue on. Okay, this next one, I didn't really expect. This one snuck up on me, and it is being vulnerable or seen as weak or vulnerable in public when I'm by myself or when I'm with my kids, when my husband isn't around, or with another able-bodied person. I feel like I'm seen as weak, which anybody who knows me personally knows that that's absolutely not true. I'm like so far from weak. But at that moment, I do feel vulnerable, like I'm seen as a target. Whenever I'm with my kids, I always take special precautions anyway, just because they're kids and you have to watch them very, very closely. But whenever I do have shorts on or I'm showing my disability physically that people can see, I take extra precautions to be playing it in my mind. What would I do if? What would I do if? What would I do if? I need to watch out for this distraction, things like that. So being a mom as an amputee, just know you might have some of those vulnerable feelings, and take extra precautions, maybe some self-defense courses, maybe carry a weapon on you of some kind, but always be aware of your surroundings and try not to put yourself in those vulnerable positions. Okay, this next one is actually a huge one that I did not expect at all, and it is costing my family a ton of money, because this and this and this and this, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. Even with insurance, I have to pay buckets of money, and I've had like 6 or 8 of these at this point, and it's getting out of control because this one doesn't fit again, and I need another one, but I don't have insurance right now, and I feel like it's just this huge money pit that I was not expecting. I thought I would chop my leg off, I would get my prosthesis, and I would be on my way, maybe get another one along the way somewhere. And that is not the case. There is a lot of maintenance to this as my limb changes, as you know, life happens, different things happen. There are so many possibilities that can happen between amputation and your prosthesis that I was not expecting. I did not know that I would have to have multiple ones and multiple components and all of the things that we need to help me, like the wheelchair and the iWalk and the knee scooter and the shower chair. And I just feel like there's all these accommodating things that keep costing us money, and I feel guilty for that. I do. I think that maybe we would have been better without me cutting my leg off, but I know that that's not true. That's just how I feel. And my husband would never say, I wish you hadn't done this, you're costing me so much money. He would never say that. But I do want to be respectful and not take more than my fair share out of our family also, if that makes sense. Along those lines, something that I didn't plan for, but that I see happen a lot, is additional surgeries for things like neuromas or what have you that might go wrong internally on your limb, but then also additional amputations, again, for the same reason, things that might go wrong, that you have to have an additional amputation cut shorter, and then you start this process completely over again, and that would be financially devastating for my family, and I didn't realize that that could happen. And so that's why I'm telling you, I want you to have all the facts, all the information before you go through this, and you can decide for your own self if these are deal breakers, or if yes, this is a situation that I want to put myself in. Because at the end of the day, even with all of these things that I've mentioned, I still don't regret my amputation. These are just some of the negative things that I have had to deal with mentally in order to accommodate this disability. Okay, this one I actually do have footage of right here. It is whenever I have to put a sock on in public. It is kind of weird, and I don't like doing it, but it is absolutely necessary. Again, I'm not the type of person to really care what people think of me out in public, but nobody likes to be on show, so I have had to do this more times than I can count, and usually there is not a private place for me to do it. I just have to find a chair or a curb or whatever that I can sit on, lean against, and hopefully get it on pretty easily, put my leg back on, and move on with my life. I don't like going to the bathroom to do it because I have to use the bathroom stall to lean up against. Like if I have to pull my pants down, then I don't want to put my skin on anything that could absorb some chemicals or something nasty. So I try to stay out of the bathroom if at all possible. But there have been times that I have been embarrassed about putting on a sock in public. And there are many systems that require no socks that you can get that you don't have to switch out the socks, and they're much easier. But I don't qualify for those, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that I wouldn't qualify for those and that I would be kind of stuck in this situation. And that's why I'm telling you, so that you will know, you will have all the facts that you might end up in this situation as well. And it's totally fine. Just know you might have to go through some of these things. Okay, this next one is big to me. It's my own mental health hang up, I think. My entire identity was how productive I was whenever I was a salon owner and a stylist and a mom of a 3-year-old by myself, a single mom, I guess. When my husband was over the road, I was doing all of that collectively. And we had a farm, and people would just like, how did you get the salon painted and clean and this and that and all your clients and my clients and take care of your kid and, you know, take care of the farm and clean your house and remodel your house and, you know, all of those things together. How did I do all of that? And I would get compliments all the time, and I would tell them, it's not me. God made me different. I just am a workhorse. I was a workhorse in a previous life. I still am a workhorse. That's just who I am. But the point is my identity was how productive I was. As an amputee, I have had to swallow that pill pretty hard because I can't go as hard and as fast as I used to. And it kind of eats at me. I feel like I'm not good enough if I don't produce this amount of work during a work day. And I still work so hard. Anybody that joins my lives, you know that I work so hard because I talk about it a little bit more on my lives. Kind of what's going on in my daily life and the struggles that I'm having, but I'm not able to fully get done everything that I like to get done in a day before my leg hurts or I'm too tired or I'm too hot. Things like that have really changed since the amputation. And so I feel like my identity of myself, of Carrie, has changed, and that's kind of weird for me and it's hard to accept. But I'm definitely in a place of acceptance, and this is my new normal, and I'm going to live life this way now, and that's okay, because that's all that I'm capable of, and I have to say that's okay. Going back real quick to the overheated, for whatever reason, that's a thing. I've always been the one to tolerate over 100-degree temperatures, no problem. I'll stay out there all day. I can't. Now, as an amputee, this past summer was my first summer as an amputee. I absolutely can't. I get overheated so quickly, and that's really weird, and I have no idea why. So if you know, please put it in the comments. Okay, phantom pain. Let's talk about mental health with phantom pain, because that will drive you crazy. Phantom pain is weird because when my foot hurts, this foot, I will go to try to squeeze it or something on my leg, but it's not here. It's out here. And it's so weird to try to describe, but even though the nerves are here, they're firing inside my physical leg, I feel them out here. So sometimes I'll even shut my eyes and like reach where my foot would be and try to massage it out or try to fix it in some way. It is so odd. I got the TMR surgery to try to prevent phantom pain, and I have very little phantom pain. But the people who have it severely, that has to be the biggest mental health challenge of all of them. And I feel so bad for the ones who have such bad phantom pain. And I know a lot of people will get amputation revision surgeries in order to get the TMR, targeted muscle reinnervation surgery, to prevent the phantom pains because they are that bad, that they're on heavy medications and all kinds of stuff. So just know, do your research before you do this of how to prevent phantom pains, how to heal the phantom pains if they do happen, and how to kind of navigate life with those weird, odd feelings. I did an entire video on phantom pains and how I avoid them, and I'll put that video right up here. One of the ways was the targeted muscle reintervention surgery, the TMR surgery. But day to day, if I eat too much sugar, my leg will just fire. And it's so painful. I'll just be jerking on the couch, and I'll tell my husband, like, okay, I gotta go to bed. This is too much. My leg is seizing up. I gotta go. Another way that I prevent the spasms and the phantom pains is with magnesium. Sugar is processed by removing all of the magnesium from your body, and so we're magnesium deficient. We need to add magnesium to our diets and down our sugar so that those two coincide with low sugar and high magnesium, which keeps the phantom pains away for me. Research it, talk to your doctor, do whatever you need to do, see if that might work for you. Okay, so this one popped up the other day, and it was kind of really unexpected feelings, and I didn't know what to do with it or how to navigate it. But we were dropping my son, my oldest, off at a brand new church. It was recommended. I didn't just dump him off somewhere. He was going with a friend to camp, and I did not wear shorts on purpose because he's the new kid. Kids can be mean, even church kids can be mean, and I didn't want to give anybody ammunition to fire at him while he was gone. So I actually hid my disability from the public, from the church, from the kids, from the parents, so that they wouldn't have any ammunition to use against him while he was at camp. And I thought that was kind of weird that I felt that way, but I wanted to protect him as well. And I don't know that anybody would care, but from people staring at me all the time in the public, I didn't want him to be bombarded with questions while he was gone. I just wanted him to go and have a good time and make new friends. Okay, this doesn't happen very often, but it is something that I kind of thought about beforehand, but I didn't realize that it would play such a big part. And it doesn't play a huge part, but sometimes it does. I feel like I'm a burden to my family sometimes because when I take my leg off, there's so much assembly that if I want a drink of water or something, I'll ask somebody, can you get me a drink of water? And they ask me to do things for them all the time, and I gladly do it, and they do it for me. But for some reason, whenever the roles are reversed, I feel like I'm the burden. Anyways, if for some reason I can't wear my leg out in public, or what, I'm having a bad week or whatever, I can't get the house clean, I can't get dinner fixed, I can't be as productive as I normally am because I'm on the knee scooter, and I feel like I'm a burden. I feel like I'm not pulling my weight. Same goes for whenever we go out in public and I can't wear my leg. My husband has to push me around in the wheelchair. He has never once complained. Not once. He is amazing. But I feel like I am a burden because I have to be pushed around if I want to enjoy this. And what is he going to do? No, you stay at home, because I don't want to push you around. Of course he's not going to say that. And of course he's not going to say, I don't want to push you around. So he kind of feels obligated, even though I'm sure he doesn't feel that way. It's my own mental hang up. All I'm saying is that sometimes I feel like I'm a burden to my family, and I didn't expect that. Thank goodness I get to wear my leg most of the time, but whenever I can't, those feelings kind of flood in and rush in, and see, you made a mistake, see, you're a burden, see, you shouldn't have done this, now look at you, look at what have you done, what's it going to be like whenever you're 80, thoughts like that. So try to keep those at bay and just get through the steps and the trials that you're in right now. Don't let that overtake you, because the majority of the time I'm actually up and functioning very, very well at a high productivity rate. But very rarely I do have those times that I'm down. The very last thing that I'm going to talk about is the thing that could have made me change my mind had I realized the severity of it. My biggest fear of being an amputee, and even before I was an amputee, of cutting my leg off, my biggest fear was not being able to help my kids in an emergency. I felt like I couldn't then because I couldn't run to them if they fell off their bike or whatever. But in a house fire, I could absolutely get them and get them out of the house. As an amputee, I physically can't. And that is the scariest thing I have ever admitted in my life. And this has been brought about because this past week, we turned on a heater for the first time, and it caused the fire alarm to go off in the middle of the night. I had no idea it was heater related. I didn't know if we had seconds to get out of the house, if the kids' rooms were already blazing. I had no idea. Whenever you're startled awake like that and your body flushes with adrenaline, you don't know who to go to first. Because I have 2 kids, I'm by myself, I have no leg, I have to assemble myself quickly in order to get to who do I go to first. I don't know who's worse at that moment. And so having gone through this past week and realizing the severity of it and how scared I was and how desperate I was for help at that moment, it could have been a deterrent for me to cut off my leg, because at that moment I had great remorse. I thought that I had just killed us all because I cut off my leg trying to better my life, and now my kids are going to die in a fire. Like, whenever you go through that heartache and that trauma, of course there's nothing I can do about it now, but had I known the severity of what that would feel like, I probably would not have cut off my leg. But here's the reality of the situation. My house wasn't burning down. House fires are very rare. In a tornado, I would never take my leg off because we live in Oklahoma. We live with tornadoes. I know what to do in tornadoes. And I would never take my leg off if there was a threat of a tornado. We don't really have earthquakes. We've had a couple, but that's not as big of a threat. It's right up there with a house fire. But since then, I'm going to start practicing putting on my leg super fast in the middle of the night to make sure. Sorry if you can hear him crying in the background. This is why I can't produce videos as often as I want, because I do have a toddler and he does cry a lot. But anyways, I'm going to practice putting on my leg as quickly as I can in the middle of the night when I don't have my wits about me. I'm going to set an alarm for the middle of the night and try to get better at that and make sure that my kids know the protocol. Like, if the fire alarms go off, this is what you do. Absolutely, go do it. And we're going to practice it regularly so that I can take every precaution necessary to keep us safe. The reality of the situation is that the kids are small for a very small amount of time. So they are able to get themselves out of the house in a fire or danger or something like that once they get to be about 5, 6, 7, things like that. I have a 3-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. When the house fire alarms went off this past time, my 11-year-old popped out of bed and ran straight to his brother's room. And we talked about it after the fact, and he said, "Mom, I just wanted to get Teddy out because I figured you could get yourself out. Is that right? Do I need to help you?" And he was just as scared as I was. Bless his heart. He's so mature. And I said, "You did the exact right thing. Grab Teddy and get out. Figure out where the fire is and go the opposite way. Either go out the back door, go out the front door, whatever you have to do. Get out of the house. Do not come back for me. I will get myself out. And if you can't get out, scream for me and I will get you out." I really hope that this didn't scare you or discourage you from your decision making. But I do want you to have all of the facts. I do want you to know some of the tough things that you might face and might go through, only so that you can prepare for them. Knowledge is power, so use this as knowledge and power for your life and your situation. If you enjoyed this video, if you found value in it, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, share it with somebody else who might need it. And if you really want to keep my channel going, share it with everybody you know, and I'll be able to make more videos like this. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video.